The Super Speedway Podcast is a Dream Bigger media production. For news, photos, show notes, and information about advertising on the podcast, visit www.thesuperspeedway.com.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 126 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded Tuesday, September 17th, 2019. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, how you doing today?
Good, man. We are. There's no thunderstorm. You made it here without any incident so far.
Yes.
And then Ellie is distracted upstairs, so I think we should be in a better situation than we were last week. Last week was definitely fly by the seat of our pants.
Right. We'll see. It's always fly by the seat of our pants, though, James. That's how we do things.
That's right.
We had the South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway last weekend. And Martin Truex Jr. gets it done. Puts himself on the board and...
Fifth win of the year.
Yeah, moves himself on in the second round of the playoffs. First one to go.
First one to the round of 12. Yeah, he didn't look like he was going to... He wasn't the dominant car by any means. But, you know, obviously he won stage 2 and things kind of fell their way. Cole Pern, the genius that he is, set that car up for a long run. And by God, they got a long run. Passed Harvick late and took off. That was it. Yep.
There was definitely a mix up front. Of course, Joey Logano was your dominant car, if you want to call one, with 105 laps led on the day, and first and second in the first two stages. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, Truex leads 32 laps to get the win. Kevin Harvick led 47. And then Daniel Suarez led 29 laps on the day.
Yeah, Suarez, the Stewart-Haas Fords were pretty fast in qualifying, and that translated to a little bit of the race. But it seemed as the race went along, most of the Stewart-Haas guys faded, and then Kevin Harvick did what Kevin Harvick does, and he was there late. But
right,
Truex, this is win number 5 on the year. He leads the series now, and now takes the claim as the best Gibbs car for right now. For the moment, there are 3 of them are trading jabs at each other.
Right
at the top there, but yeah, Truex. Is this the third opener he's won in the last 4 years or something like that?
I think that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Third of 4.
So starts the playoff strong again.
Yeah, it's his 24th career victory, his second victory at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Man.
I think probably the big story on the day, though, was Kyle Busch, right?
I think he's the biggest story. Yeah.
And that's before we even get to the post-race antics. So,
yeah.
So Kyle hits the wall on lap 3.
Yes.
And has to pit and goes 2 laps down and spends the entire race just hanging there, waiting to get the lap back.
Yep.
Gets 1 lap back and stays out. And then his brother crashes.
Gets his other lap back.
And Kyle's back on the lead lap and coming through the field.
Yeah, and doesn't Kyle Busch always complain that he can't pass with the rules package?
Well, apparently he can't because he doesn't understand that you have to go around cars to do that.
I think I teed you up on that one.
Yeah, because if you missed it, he decided to try and drive through Garrett Smithley and failed. And wrecked his own front end of his car and
basically blamed Garrett Smithley for the whole thing.
Yeah. So before we get to Kyle's post-race press conference or post-race media availability, which is entertaining, let's talk a little bit about this incident first of all. I mean, this is Kyle's fault, right?
Yeah, he said that Smithley didn't hold his line, but I don't know. There was cars right in front of Kyle that managed to change lanes and go around him.
Yeah, I think it's more like you're driving blind in anger.
I think that's part of it.
And just not... I mean, Kyle's fast, and he was a lot faster than Smithley, but Smithley has every right to be there.
Yeah.
He's maintaining minimum speed, and that's just what it is.
Well, I saw it compared to when you run into somebody at a red light,
right,
and you blame the person that was at the red light first, right? That's kind of what was going on there. Kyle Busch is too good of a driver to have something like that affect him. But, you know, Eric, this is part of the reason why I have a hard time picking him to win championships. It's little things like this that he finds himself in that he could have got away with, a 4th or 5th place finish, like he said.
Yeah. Honestly, even being 2 laps down, what did he end up? He ended up
19th. Yep.
That's still an okay day considering
he salvaged,
what he was doing. I mean, let's look at...
Well, even his lap 3 incident was really weird. He's had a lot of... recently, he's had a lot of incidents where he's gotten into the wall.
Right.
Darlington, I'm not so much worried about because he was trying to win that race. That was late. He was pushing the limits. He got into the wall a little bit there. But yeah, some mental mistakes from Kyle lately that have just been really weird and really out of character for him. Like he's pressing a little bit too much, or he's not focused or something. I can't speak on Kyle Busch's behalf on how focused or not he is or not.
Well, I mean, it is the playoffs. It is time for Kyle to implode.
Yeah, well, he's done it before.
He's
right?
working on that, and Texas is how many weeks away? That's usually when it boils over.
Yeah.
But so Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is first driver to finish 2 laps down in 26th position.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle, even with the incident, still finished 19th over 26th.
Yeah.
So, but it's just,
Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know why. I don't know why he acted the way he did on the track. It's just really, he's too good. And I know he's got a ton of points. He won the regular season championship. He got all those playoff points. He's sitting pretty. I mean, he's still, where's he ranked right now in the points? I got him, let me see, 4th. He's 19 back of Truex. Well, Truex is qualified in, so he's good. So, he's fine. He ain't falling out of the playoffs. He's got plenty of cushion.
Right.
I just don't understand the need for him to... And, maybe Eric, too, he sees a teammate like Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin running just as good, if not better than him in his own stuff. And that doesn't happen to Kyle very much.
Right, that is true. He's usually the top of the heap.
Yeah, and his whole season has been just really kind of funky. And ever since, he was hot at the beginning of the year, and ever since, he's just been kind of angry, right? I mean, It seems like he's more angry than usual.
He's always angry.
I know.
So, after the race... let's explain how this works. So NASCAR is doing a thing this year. Previously, and I think we talked about it on the show, previously the top 3 drivers would go to the media center after the race. So you'd have your third place guy would come in, he'd do a little press conference. Second place guy would come in, do a little press conference. You'd wait a while, and then the winner would come in with the team owner and the crew chief, and they'd do a press conference. And that was your media availability. Otherwise, you went down on pit road, you tried to find the drivers you wanted to talk to. It was really hit and miss because people just walked off and did their own thing. So the NASCAR changed it this year to where they have basically, if you've ever been to a concert and seen the gates up at the front row, they've got gates like that, and they set them up to where the media stands on one side and the drivers come up to the other side. And the top 10 drivers are supposed to visit that gate and talk to the media, take questions. Well, Kyle finishes 19th, but for the playoffs, NASCAR requires all the playoff drivers to go there as well to answer questions. I don't know what the penalty is for missing it. I don't know if there is one. I don't know if there's a fine. I don't know if you just look bad. I mean, Kyle skipped out on press conferences before. But Kyle went to the press conference. And so here's the audio. This is courtesy of Fox Sports. We were going to do a dramatic reading of Jeff Gluck's transcript for this, but I found the audio. It's a little noisy because it's during the post-race stuff, and of course Kyle didn't want to be there, so bear with us. But here's the short 1 minute long media availability with Kyle Busch.
What happened there with the 53 there late?
52, get it right. Don't know.
How did that impact your car?
Killed it.
What do you think? Were you happy that you were able to come back after the early damage?
Nope.
Or what happened there at the beginning of the race?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Careful. How about the heat? What effect?
Felt great.
No fine out there the whole time?
Based on that you're going to a place where you won last year at Richmond.
Nope, can't pass there.
You feel okay about your chances overall?
Don't care.
Does it help you at all that you have the bonus points coming in here, coming out of this race?
Just here so I don't get fined.
Do you feel like if you had been able to get the top 10,
I'm answering the dumbest questions over and over again. Am I good?
So that last part is he turns to Matt Humphrey, who's one of the media representatives from NASCAR, and he basically in the middle of answering questions just turns his back to the media and asks Matt if he needs to stay there, basically. And Matt says, nope, you're good, and off goes Kyle. So
yeah, he wasn't doing anything productive anyway. I like that he hung out with Marshawn Lynch before everything, right. And then dropped Marshawn Lynch's probably his most famous press conference when he said, I'm here so I don't get fined. I really enjoyed that part of it. That was probably my favorite.
I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. Kyle looks like a fool. but damn it, this is funny.
I know. It's good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a brat, but he's always been a brat. So, do
These-
you want drivers to act like themselves? Are we? How many times have we had this conversation?
Exactly.
We can't. I don't know if we can dive into it.
Everybody wants these drivers to have a personality until they don't like the personality, and then they're not happy.
And then you
with
end
it.
up with a Jimmy Johnson who's vanilla in every press conference. And
Exactly.
then you don't hear anything.
Hate Kyle Busch all you want. That's fine. Don't tell Kyle Busch to stop being Kyle Busch.
Yeah, it's funny.
And the best part was is then he took to Twitter and
Yeah.
continued it.
Yeah, he was ranting and raving at everybody.
So,
oh my gosh.
So I guess the biggest thing is this? I mean, is he showing the field weakness right now?
There is some signs of worry there. He's
Yeah.
not my championship favorite anymore. Not
Same
by
here.
not by a long shot.
Same here. I mean, this is the first race of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
You got a long way to go, bud.
We've had fights. We've had people upset with each other, and now we got Kyle Busch fighting with himself.
Yep.
And that's not
Every
good.
race from here on out only gets tougher.
Yep.
It's only going to get harder and harder as he goes along. And he'll make it to the round of 12 and he'll make it to the round of 8. He's not going to have any problems there.
Right.
But he can't be imploding when it's time to make it to the Final Four at Homestead.
Exactly.
Can't have it.
Exactly. So let's talk about some other people who had bad days.
A lot of bad days for playoff drivers.
Yeah, definitely.
The playoffs always do this. There's always, we always wonder what's going to end up happening, and then there's implosions.
Yep, we were pretty high on Eric Jones last week. Talked Eric Jones up like
Bad luck,
crazy.
yep.
Both of us thought could win the championship, maybe even.
He might be out.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be okay though. His car is too good. He's dug himself definitely got a big hole with that transmission issue. But you can't help part failures.
Yeah, I'm looking at where he's at. I mean, he's 26 out.
He's last right now.
He is last, 16th. But he's got Clint Boyer just ahead of him.
And Boyer's not coming up.
You got Ryan Newman there. I still don't see Ryan Newman.
He
getting
can
out of this
leapfrog
round.
those two pretty quickly.
And Eric Almirola is another one potentially that.
Yeah.
I think he's okay, but you can't have another bad day.
No.
If he has another bad one, he's got to win.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's not far. Kurt Busch is going to be hard to leapfrog past. I still think Kurt Busch is going to probably be good at Richmond.
Yeah, Kurt had a bad day too with the
yeah.
accident. So I mean, Kurt's 14 out with a bad day like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 10 points, 12 points closer.
Well, Eric Jones goes to Richmond, and again, we've talked about it before, but if he wins a couple of stages, that's 20 points.
Well, and I still contend that Eric Jones is a factor to potentially win a race every weekend.
Yeah, I do too.
He's just got to be in the right spot at the end of the race, but he's been good enough to be close enough.
Yep,
So.
he'll be fine. He'll
Yep.
be fine. These guys are all there's going to be issues. The Roval's going to be a problem. There's going to be plenty of room for him to come back through.
Yep. Byron had trouble. What the heck happened to Byron? I can't remember.
Yeah, he spun off of turn 4.
That's right.
He had there was a little bit of contact. I think it was with Blaney. Cut a tire down, spun off of 4. This is actually an interesting situation.
This is our Do We Care topic.
This is pretty much a do we care topic. So what happens is he spins at the perfect spot, is able to go down pit road. NASCAR throws the caution. Chase Elliott abides by the rules and just takes his sweet time, but he's still making up ground on the pace car. He's proceeding at a cautious pace. I actually looked at the rule book for it. Or not. I double checked NASCAR rules because I wanted to make sure I had this right.
Right.
So Chase doesn't do anything wrong. Joey Logano's throwing a fit because once Joey realizes what Chase is doing, they can't figure out why he's going as slow as he is. He guns it and is throwing a fit.
Of course.
He's not going speed. Blah blah blah. But what Chase did was keep William Byron on the lead lap, and he was able to make it back around.
Any issues with that?
I have no problems with it.
I mean, we've got team racing. I mean, this is part of it.
Yeah, if this was an elimination race and both these guys were fighting for a spot, yeah, it'd be different.
Right.
I actually
And
heard
this happened earlier in the race too. At one of the stage ends.
it happens during every caution almost.
Right, and it's happened all through history. I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't something new. Back when we raced back at the line, we saw this too.
Steve Letarte actually said on the NASCAR and NBC podcast, I was listening to it today, he said he used to tell Dale Jr. in different points during the race if he needed to hustle or if he needed to back down. If it was one of those kind of a quickie yellow or something, he would tell Dale Jr. to hustle up to the pace car if he was in the lead. Would give him direction on how to approach the pace car.
Interesting.
But as long as you're coming up to the pace car at a cautious pace, the drivers are in control of that.
Right.
That's they pace the field.
Right. I mean, I can't blame Chase for doing it. I think Chase did the right thing in his book. I mean, at the same time, Chase is trying to win a championship over William Byron, so maybe. But I guess I don't blame Joey for being upset either.
Yeah,
Probably should be.
Yeah, but
Tough.
Yeah.
Joey would have done the same thing.
Yeah, but Joey, I think Joey's probably kicking himself a little bit too because he could have tried to game it a little bit and sped up around Chase earlier before he realized what was going on. And then, maybe NASCAR has to throw a flag at Chase. I don't know.
And now this is one of those instances, too.
Its gamemanship.
Well, how consistent is NASCAR being calling this? Because they have penalized drivers for this before.
Yep.
They haven't, it's...
Yeah.
So.
Kudos to William Byron, though. He recovered. Was able to
You're going to get a flat tire. What better place to get a
Turn
flat tire?
Turn 4, got it pitted, and ended up finishing 7th. Him and Alex Bowman both nice days on the non-favorites from Hendrick, but that's a playoff advancing move for William Byron. You have trouble and you're able to get a little bit of luck, but also you perform well enough to advance. So it's a good day for him.
Let's see what else. Anybody else worth talking about in this?
I thought Ryan Newman getting a top 10 was the Ryan Newman thing.
Just doing Ryan Newman things again.
Yep, Larson was good most of the day. Harvick was really good again. Keselowski wasn't spectacular, but again, that was another great playoff race from him.
So let me do something here real quick. So here's the playoff drivers in the top 10 positions.
Yeah, all time.
Martin Truex Jr. wins.
Yep,
Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Ryan Newman. Top 10 drivers, all 10. Playoffs.
Yep.
Next playoff driver, Eric Almirola in 13th, Denny Hamlin in 15th, Kyle Busch in 19th, Clint Bowyer 25th, Eric Jones 36th, Kurt Busch dead last 39th.
Dead last.
I mean,
yeah, I know.
Except for the guys that had trouble.
Yeah,
everybody's right there in the top 10.
Exactly. Yeah, a couple guys had trouble, and there's not enough room for 16 drivers to make it into the top 10.
Right.
So.
It's hard to argue that the right guys are in the playoffs, right?
The first guy out of the playoff picture was Jimmy Johnson in 11th.
Yeah.
That's good for Jimmy, I guess.
Yep.
I guess you can take that as a moral victory.
Let's see. Anything else? I think that pretty much covers the race for the most part. I thought it was an okay race. I didn't think it was spectacular by any means.
The restarts were really good, but there wasn't very many early. That first stage was just a drag. But it
felt like the last stage went quick, and probably because it had some cautions in it.
Yeah. But those restarts are really good.
It probably felt like it was quick, too, because I was watching live through the first two stages. In the last stage, I took a family break, and we played a game, and then I got to skip the commercials. So that's probably why it felt so fast. That's the way to do it. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, there's 16 laps to go. Awesome. This is... So, before we leave Vegas, though, did you see the Jesse Ouija crash? Is that how you say his last name?
The Truck Series.
Holy crap.
That was wicked.
And
that's a dangerous looking crash.
I've said a million times, and I don't think it would have changed anything in this crash. Maybe it would have because he went through the grass. Why in the hell do they not have pit road walls on the outside of these pit roads?
Michigan's got one, and that Mark Martin crash was one of the scariest crashes I've ever seen.
True. Indy's got one. We've seen plenty of cars slide in there, but still, man.
That Indy wall is pretty scary, too, the way it sits out there. But
fortunately for qualifying, there's not a bunch of people standing on that pit wall.
But can you imagine somebody trying to pit a car or something? I mean, that's boy.
That was an insane crash. If you haven't seen it, look it up. You just search for Las Vegas truck qualifying crash. You'll get it on Google. That's how I did.
It was a huge hit. Hit.
It was crazy. Let's see. I think that covers it. I mean, we talked a little bit about playoffs. Ryan Newman out by 6. Kurt Busch out by 14. Clint Bowyer out by 21. Eric Jones out by 26. The guys hanging on, Alex Bowman is plus 10. Eric Almirola plus 6. I mean, Blaney's only plus 12. Byron's only plus 13. All those guys are kind of in danger. Larson's a little safer at 17 in.
Yeah.
But
these are the closest guys. The next guy up is like 29 points ahead. So this is kind of the bubble, if you will.
Right.
But I think this is going to change quite a bit on Saturday night when we get to Richmond.
Yeah. So we got Richmond, and then we got the Roval to wrap things up for the...
we'll be done already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... let's see. A few news things to talk about.
Yeah, it's all over the place with news this week.
Yeah, we'll start with sad news. Mike Stefanik was in a plane crash.
Man.
Crazy. No plane crashes. Everything's been good for NASCAR since Jack Roush crashed like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And now we got Dale Jr. in his, and Mike Stefanik passes away in his. So
yeah. Near Rhode Island, I believe, is where it was.
Okay.
And he was piloting it himself. It was a single-seater, I believe.
And, of course, he was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Eventually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of the nominees, right? Wasn't he?
I don't think he's nominated this year.
I thought he was.
But he's been on the ballot.
Yeah.
So he's been on the ballot, I know, since 2015.
Okay.
But I don't think he's not on the short list.
I swear he was on the list this year, but
but here's what I have to say about Mike Stefanik. Tragedy, by all means, we recognize that. We hate talking about the tragedy side of things.
Right.
But what I like to always try to do is put these guys in perspective if we can. And you know the name Mike. If you follow NASCAR racing, you've heard the name Mike Stefanik.
right.
You don't know a lot of the guys. You can be a casual NASCAR fan, you can be even a diehard NASCAR fan, and you don't know guys who race the modifieds or the local tours. But by God, you knew who Mike Stefanik was. That's how good this guy was on the local tours.
Right.
I mean, what did he have? 9 total championships between the K&N and Whelen series.
Yeah.
He had 74 wins in Whelen. Packed on another 12 in the K&N series. So this guy, he was a Truck Series Rookie of the Year, 1999. So he had an impact. He's kind of one of those Ron Hornaday, Jack Sprague types where he was great, all-time great short track racer. Dick Trickle's another one, great short track racer, and then took a little bit of a shot at the NASCAR higher level series and didn't quite pan out for him. But by the time he made it to by the time he was trying to get into the Xfinity series, he was already in his mid 30s, and by the time he was really serious about it, he was in his 40s. So
right. Probably if you've been following NASCAR for a while, probably the time you heard of Mike Stefanik, if there was a time, was 2013, the Battle at the Beach at Daytona International Speedway on the backstretch.
Right before I was heading down for the Daytona 500. I remember it clearly.
He's leading the Whelen Modifieds race and gets wrecked, loses the race, and gives this classic post-race interview. I'm pretty sure I don't have to bleep anything out here. Maybe I do.
Bob, I'm back in the pit area. Mike
No, if it's off the TV
Stefanik
broadcast, you should be clear.
Number 22, and Mike, 2 nights in a row, the guy who leads the white flag doesn't get the win. Steve Park said that he got hit from the driver behind him and pushed him into you, and he said it was just one of those racing deals.
Yeah, right. I don't want to say anything because
He's not looking at the camera, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Thing here. I am that freaking pissed. It's just bullshit.
Mike Stefanik certainly very upset. The last lap, second time in 2 nights.
Good times.
I'm surprised that the TV. I remember that, and the whole time he's not looking at the camera. He's not looking.
Stone face,
angry, and he was pissed.
Yes.
Sorry for the language, but
good stuff.
you did give the language warning, so I think we're good.
Yeah,
I don't think we have to put the little E on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm not
episode.
bleeping it either. That's got to stand in all.
In
eternity.
honor of Mike Stefanik, yes, that's got to stand.
Definitely. So
yeah, too bad. I hate these tragedies. I mean, we all do, but man,
right.
It just sucks.
Yep.
Shouldn't go out before your time.
Yeah.
Nobody should.
I thought we had another silly season story this week too. I don't see it in the notes, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we can always go to our trusty J-Ski.
We might have to check J-Ski or.
All right. Well, you filibuster for me.
Tweeters. Let's we'll go with the one that I know we do have because it was out today. Daniel Hemrick will be out of Richard Childress Racing after 1 season.
Man.
And it hasn't been officially confirmed, but I believe that our buddy, what's his name, Stern, has confirmed that Reddick is going to fill that spot, Tyler Reddick. Which
it's pretty much a done deal.
Come on.
Jack Rouse. Jeez. Richard Childress said back in July or so that the only way that they could keep Reddick in the fold was to have him in a Cup car.
He said it in June at Michigan. Actually,
yeah, so there you go. Way back. Way back he said that. And this really sucks for Hemrick because it's so late in the season, and RCR's not even going to put him in the Xfinity series. He's out. Yeah,
Hemrick's probably done.
And that's too bad because he's been the best driver in the fold over there this year, and that's saying something,
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, Hemrick's last name isn't Dillon, so he doesn't get multiple chances, and maybe Kevin Harvick was right.
Hey, Kevin Harvick.
Hey, I can't say too much against Richard Childress. I rode in the pace car with him, man.
Yeah, I know. No, that organization is a proud organization. They're celebrating 50 years this year.
It is a proud organization.
It's a proud organization.
Okay, so I don't want to bash Richard Childress.
Let's try not to.
But what is proud about the organization? Dale Earnhardt
and
right?
Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, I guess.
Kevin Harvick elevated
didn't win
that
a championship there.
Yeah,
though.
but he won a 500 and he elevated that organization quite.
I suppose.
But
I don't know. There's been a lot of drivers that have ended their careers or essentially
come and gone.
ended their careers at Richard Childress.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Racing.
think of some of the drivers that have gone through there. From Skinner,
Mike Skinner's probably the best example.
Robbie Gordon was a good driver, but he just never got his what together.
Jeff Burton ended his career there.
Burton had a nice run there.
Yeah,
he had a nice run there. Newman
did
finished.
Burton win there?
What's that?
Did Burton win in the 31?
Yeah, he won a couple of times. Yeah, he had a nice run there late. And then Ryan Newman finished second in points there.
Yeah.
2014. I mean, that was a weird second in points. That was the first year of the elimination playoffs. But
I guess I'm wrong. I just felt like there was another news item.
I don't think so. I
felt like we were tweeting about or texting back and forth about something else this week. But must not have been.
Either way. But speaking of tweeting, I was chatting with Bob Pockris a little bit today.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Bob replies to everybody.
Right.
But one of the things
he really does too.
One of the things we had in our notes was I was interested in Chris Buescher being kind of non-committal to JTG. Basically, he came out and said, "Listen, drivers are on 1-year deals now. It's basically year to year for guys like me, and we got to look at all of our options." And he was basically said he was looking at other options. So then a buddy of mine sent Bob a tweet, and I hopped on, and he basically said, "Hey Bob, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is just taking up a seat, really." It's basically long and short of it. So I chimed in and said, "Yeah, when Chris made his comments, I thought, well, that would be a nice fit for the 17. He's been a pretty good driver. He's out driving his equipment. That team's actually gotten better." But turns out that according to Bob, we actually have a source. According to Bob, JTG is pretty close to signing him, and Stenhouse isn't going anywhere either. He's signed through 2021. So Stenhouse has at least 2 more seasons in the 17 before he's even, unless Roush tells him to get lost. But other than that, I thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts on Chris Buescher's comments. It's the truth, right? Hendrickson as an example. They kind of go together.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that one.
I think the middle of the field drivers just have a tough time. They're not bringing a lot of sponsorship dollars, and these owners. It kind of goes back to even Garrett Smithley, that conversation.
Right.
Owners have a right to put in drivers that they want.
You know what you need to do as a mid-tier, lower-tier driver to be successable?
Try the Jeffrey Earnhardt model.
Get the attention of Paul Menard, man.
There you go.
I wanted to bring that up. So that is one thing I wanted to discuss this week because we have a trend on this show of James hating on Paul Menard.
It's not a trend. It's just the truth.
So the story comes out this week after we talked on the show last week about Matt DiBenedetto getting that ride, that it turns out that Paul Menard is the one who went to the Wood Brothers and suggested Matt DiBenedetto for that position. Yep. The Wood Brothers never talked to another driver. They went straight to DiBenedetto.
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
The guy with the checkbook has got a lot of power, right?
I guess so. His name's going to be on the card
Might
still.
be the greatest win of Menard's career.
It could be.
But
Can you imagine if Matt comes out and wins a race next year? A couple for him?
You're right, though. And I just remembered what our conversation was about. I'll drop that for you in a second. Paul Menard's got that cash. He's probably going to be running things at Menard's or something, right? That's got to be his future.
I would assume, yeah. He's got,
Yeah. So the silly season item, it's not really a silly season item, but you and I were talking about earlier this week via text about the problems that Gander Outdoors is having.
Yes, there you go.
That's what it was. Is that what it was?
I think so. Could've been.
So Gander Outdoors is going to be shuttering all their retail outlets.
Wait, have you confirmed this through an actual news outlet? Or
this is confirmed.
This is not a tweet that James thought was real.
I've been getting nailed by the bad tweets lately. So that's the dang truth. But no, this is a real thing. Gander Outdoors is going back towards the RV side of things. That's their bread and butter. They tried getting in the retail. They bought bought the Gander Outdoor outlets or whatever the retail, and decided that's not working. So they are losing money quite a bit. And if Gander Outdoors is losing money, that's not good for how many races do they sponsor a year plus a series.
If you just count the Cup Series, there's multiple
Gander Outdoor races.
You count the Truck Series, that's like 3/4 of the series.
The whole series, yeah. So I was wondering if it's even going to revert back to Camping World Truck Series.
I don't know.
Is what I'm wondering, because there might not be a Gander Outdoors.
Be interesting. I wouldn't be against the change. I hate the Gander Outdoors name.
Yeah, but
nothing against the product, but I hate the name.
Me too. So. But yeah, that was just one of the things that I had thought about that you and I had been texting about anyway.
Yeah, that is one of the things.
Sponsorship is important, people. That's the gist that you need to take from that.
One more thing before we talk about before we preview next week's race, we did a call out for your
the playoff brackets.
Last week. I did get some playoff brackets.
Fantastic.
I barely checked my email. There might be new ones in here, but Todd sent us one. We got one from. Let's see. There's Todd's. Todd was the last one to send it to us. Steve Lester sent us one. And
I'm sure everybody's got Truex advancing, so I think you guys are probably all good.
Ben Latrario is the other one who sent them
Nice.
to us. So I'll get those to James so James can do the tallies on those.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on them. I won't be tallying until after the elimination races, but
if you guys still want to get in, you can.
Yeah, we're not worried about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got Truex advancing anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Just email thesuperspeedway@gmail.com.
Yep.
And shoot us over your bracket. Scan it in or whatever you got to do.
Scan it in, take a picture of it, whatever.
Yep. Send us a file. Don't send malicious files. But
yeah, we would appreciate that.
We'll be careful.
Yeah, or we would not appreciate that, whichever way you want to go. But yeah, you're not too late to get in if you want to get in still. Send them our direction.
We'll allow one more week because everybody's got Truex advancing. I'm not worried about that one.
Yeah, considering we have a whopping 3 so far, I think we could let a couple more.
We got 5 with me and you.
True, that is true.
I have to compete in something else.
James has got to do all the work. So
I have to compete in something else after what happened with my fantasy team, which we'll get into shortly.
Yeah, so we go to Richmond Raceway.
Richmond
Raceway now for the Federated Auto Parts 400 this weekend. James gets the first pick this weekend.
And we're back to 750 horsepower this weekend. No aero ducts.
Yes,
so we're back to short track setups.
So
here.
which JGR driver are you going to pick this week?
Yeah, I was leaning towards Hamlin. I feel like that's the easy one. Kyle Busch also, he could come out there and slap the field around. I'm going to go a little bit off the book though. I want to go with the guy who I feel like is almost there, but not quite, and could break through here. He's got a win here in the past. I'm going to go Kyle Larson.
I started to type it before you even said
it. You knew. I have a hard time picking Kyle Busch just because it's so easy.
I have a hard time picking Kyle Busch too, so I'm going to go with the guy that I think always does well here, and that's Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, he's going to be good. That was the other guy I was really leaning on, and I'm leaning on him hard on all my other fantasy stuff this week.
Let me look here really quick to see if I want to change from the Matt DiBenedetto default dark horse pick, but I don't think I do.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Nah, I'll stick with Matt.
Yeah, I wouldn't go very too far off that.
So who's your dark horse?
This is more of a sentimental pick. Okay. I'm gonna go Daniel Hemrick. Go
That's
out there and do something, man.
That would be awesome.
Go out there and he's got 9 races left to show his worth to somebody. Go get it done.
Yeah, that would be great.
It would.
Let's talk Fantasy League. I'll take this one since James doesn't want to talk about it.
Oh my God, you guys.
So go ahead. What happened, James? You pulled a me, except this is the worst possible time.
Yeah, this is the first time this has ever happened to me.
We're short today. We need to stretch this out. We're only at 35 minutes. Man.
I know. Well, there's, I don't know what to tell you. We've been going long the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's all right.
I think we're just happy to be alive right now.
Probably.
So I've never done this before. I forgot to pick my lineup for the first time ever.
Scoters might have as well because he only had 62 points.
So I finished last this week. Yeah, I only had 2 playoff drivers in. I didn't pick any of the bonuses. So I am pretty much eliminated. However, I'm still ahead of you for the season.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to talk about it. So I was really excited because I'm pretty sure that I picked Truex and Kevin Harvick.
Nice.
But Todd apparently did better than me because Todd got 180 points. I got 153.
Todd must got those bonuses.
Yeah, probably. It's like he knows someone on the inside or something.
No,
inside joke there, guys.
Yeah.
Ranger Runyon comes home in third, 130 points. Justin 713, 319 points. Hurricane Dick 112.
I already picked my lineup for this week, by the way.
Did you?
It's already done. I'm not doing that ever again.
I almost forgot it was like late.
I was home on Sunday and I could have done it.
It was late Sunday for me that I picked it.
Yeah.
And then we got back to the camp. And I'm like,
home
okay,
base.
I can start watching the race now, and I'll skip ahead or whatever. So I fired up and I start skipping, and it's like, why is it's not letting me skip? What the hell? And I realized 7:00, race is just starting.
That's right.
God dang it, I got to watch the freaking thing live. So yeah, I had to watch.
Yeah,
it
that
live.
late start on Sunday was interesting.
I'm
going head to head with it. You know what? It worked out pretty good for the NFL weekend, though. If you like watching NFL football,
yeah,
you got the 2 games done. The witching hour at 4:00 was already over.
Yep.
And then you could watch the NASCAR race unless you wanted to watch the Sunday night game, which I don't know. My team wasn't in there, so
yeah, I don't know. I hate late Sunday night. I love Saturday night races.
Yeah, it's gonna be good this week.
Sunday night races, I'm not a fan of. So.
I've said it before, but I'm all for NASCAR
I'm gonna have to watch that one delayed because I got a hockey game.
Yes, there you are. Yeah, you got hockey season starting already.
Yep.
Jeez, oh man.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for NASCAR trying to avoid the NFL at certain times of the year right now.
Yeah,
So.
I am too. I mean, I don't care because I don't watch the NFL, but
Yeah.
whatever works for them to get better ratings, I'm good with that. I
Yep,
mean, shoot,
absolutely.
we work around freaking soccer on rain delays, so why don't we work around the NFL?
That's right.
So, especially when NBC's got an actual interest in it.
That's
with
right.
The NFL. So, any shout outs this week, James?
I have one, but I think we both have the same one. It's more of a congratulatory shout out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it this way because I don't know if we should do it too officially on here.
Well,
he did put it on Facebook.
he publicized it.
But I don't know how private his Facebook account is. So let's
That's
just say, Todd,
Congratulations.
congratulations on the new gig.
Yep.
We're
proud of you, man.
We'll stick it with that. If we can say more, let us know. We'll say more next week.
Yeah. We were just I messaged him earlier this week, or I think it was yesterday.
Did he put it on Twitter too?
I just saw it on Facebook.
Okay, so I don't always trust.
We've never
Facebook.
met in person, but we're Facebook friends. But
Right.
no, he's
That's
got
like
a cool
three-quarters
thing.
of my Facebook friends.
Yeah, he's got a cool thing going on right now, and just as a friend of the show, we're happy for him. We can't wait to see what he
I
does
am
next.
not happy with him. I'm jealous as crap. That's all I can say. I hate Todd now. No, it's very cool. Very cool deal. So congrats to him. I don't have anything else this week. James, if they want to find you on social media, where can they do that?
You can find me at James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find our podcasts on there, show notes, usually links to the stories we discussed, not so much today because James did the notes and I didn't even look at them. So you're just lucky you got a show this week, guys.
That just sounds like a dig.
I know. That was not at you. No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
It's a pretty quiet week besides the race, though, man.
It really was. I mean, Kyle kept us entertained, and
Yeah.
that's all we can ask for.
That's exactly.
And then it's Richmond this weekend. He's going to probably run well, which means he's going to screw up and he'll be mad again. So that's perfect.
Right.
You can find the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud wherever you found us today. We hope you subscribe and continue to listen. If you want to become a patron and become a part of the show, help us out. You can visit patreon.com/thesuperspeedway. James, we've gone 39 minutes, which isn't actually true because there's some extra recording on the beginning of this. So we're not even 39 minutes long. What else can we do to stretch this out?
Is this
Nothing?
Is this considered a micropod?
I think
We've done that before.
I don't think it's quite a micropod. We're 40 minutes.
Listen,
30 minutes is a good number. Like we've
Yeah.
never hit it, but it's a good number.
Yeah, no, I think the people will appreciate a shorter pod every once in a while.
There we go. Well, with that, we'll get out of here then. We'll be back next week to talk about Richmond and go from there as we continue on the playoffs. We are one race into the round of 16. Next week, we'll be back to talk about it and continue to preview. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.